Okay, we're back and we're going to discuss breeding records. We've already added in the flock records in a different video, we have logged 2 different birds. To breed these birds, we'll go over into our breeding records. We'll assign a unique clutch number. We'll call this our first clutch. Some people may want to do first clutch of 2013. We do have a cockatiels. Oops. So let's just get down into that list. Now we only have one male, so we'll choose him, and that was our pie. And we're going to breed him to our female. We'll put him in cage number 4. Put him today. And we'll give him a nest box. Right now, they're both not interested in each other. We hope that will change. Once they begin interested in each other, we'll change it. So say today, we put up a pair, and we put them up last on September 3rd. By now, they're actively nesting. They've started incubating. But as you notice, there's no eggs. How can they be incubating? There's no eggs. Under breeding results, we're going to add some eggs. There's an egg. Maybe we hatched that one, laid that one there. Maybe we laid one 2 days later, and we've laid the next one there. We'll save those. Now we're going to send the selected eggs to the incubation screen. Well, first we're going to select our row. We're going to delete that one. We're going to select this one, and this one. They're already there. On the third screen is called event dates. There's their expected hatch dates. So we should look for babies to come around October 8th, and we're going to assume that they've started incubating. Now if they start incubating, put them all as incubating right now. Let's say it's already the 24th and they've hatched. All on the same day. Well, actually it's going to tell us that it's going to hatch on the 8th, so maybe they're correct. And we got lucky, and most of them hatched around the same time. There we go. Right now we don't have a unique ID for them. We don't have a band number, we don't have their name, their sex, they're just very young babies. Their expected hatch dates have now disappeared since they have that hatched, and now their banding dates have appeared. Once we start banding them, so say that's their first band number. And of course I use both of them for the same unique ID and band. I'm not gonna name them yet. And I'm just doing simple Control C to copy, Control V to paste. And that's how these are coming up like that. If we fostered, we can put foster marks on them. Colors produced, their comments. We've got them all hatched. They're ready to go. If it's just hatched and you want to keep up with something like that, you can put that you had to assist them in hatching. Once I click on an egg, I can click and it'll say copy egg number 1 to offspring records. We definitely, once we start knowing that that these birds are viable, that they're developing properly, we're going to put them into the offspring records. I'll usually wait until they're banded to do that. From here we can close out of this. And as you see, you go from the flock records to setting up your matings. Now you're tracking your offspring. So underneath here, you have your 3 offspring. It'll tell you what their clutch number is, what they've hatched, and you can even print up a hatch summary of each one. Printing up a few records here. Again, this is your hatch certificate. So once you can sell this bird, and you'll be able to tell them the parent's name, parent's ID, what color they were and phenotype. Your name would be down here. Sign it and give this as a good hatch certificate. Now, you want to go ahead and select a photo of your bird. At this age, you can go ahead and anywhere where it may be, whether it's on the computer or in your libraries or anywhere else, you can select that picture and put it here. It will then add and populate on the hatch certificate. You can do a genealogy, description. Now once you kind of know what this bird is, let's call this bird Annie. We've decided to keep her. She turned out to be a female. Should have put it down the flat. She fledged, you know, she was well, she couldn't have been banded on the 17th because she was born all the way in October. Let's see. Let's say she fledged over here. She was a late fledger. Now we have her background. This is her father's background, and this is her mother's background. That's automatically put in because you put her in through the breeding section, and all this came through. Her health records. So you can track her weight week after week. If she died, you can put there cause of death, any diet. Is she committed? Who is she committed to? Person who's acquiring her, her final status, sold, added to stock, if she's young stock, if she's gifted, if she's died, and then you can date the status. So I'm going to put her some young stock. I'll put her off in the flight. I want to keep her. Now we don't have to add her again to the flight. You just go over into her profile. She was hand fed. She sure was. And you want to move her or copy her to the flock records. I suggest if she's definitely going into your flock, you go ahead and move her, or else you'll have a lot of things piling up in your offspring records. And it asks you if you're sure you want to move this because it's going to remove her from the current database location. You'll say yes. She's gone. Now, where did she go? There she is. So she's moved from now being a baby into being an adult. When you go to add her pedigree, it already knows her father's pedigree because remember we went back and put in her father's pedigree and it's filled it in for you. And then you can do her mother's pedigree. Now you may ask, where is this bird? Is this bird anywhere in the program? Because you want to maybe, you know, her pedigree and you want to put her pedigree in. If you get back into the main screen, you'll have something called archives. And there she is. So if you want to add her pedigree, now she's the unique ID. And you can add her mother and her father's. If you then want to add her parents, you go back and look in the archives, they'll be in there. The archives are set up because, and we'll get back to this later, we don't want these particularly being in our records. This may not be in our flight. This might be someone else's bird. It might be in our flight. If it's if it's in our flight and we want to add her and say, well, she's in my flight, you can reactivate it. And so say this bird is in my flight. Now I'm going to reactivate it. It's going to come up and ask me to reactivate the button, and it's going to put it in an active database location. Now when I go into the flock records, I can see it's been added. And so that bird is now in my flight. Now if I just then decide, you know what, it's too old to breed, I can archive it, kind of get it out of the active flock members, still put it in archive, give it a cage number, so if I look up the cage number I can find it. But I would keep this clean of just your breeding birds. Everything else can be archived. So when you're looking at BirdTracker and you're saying, wow, I don't want to enter in all those flock records, I would enter in, and don't let this overwhelm you. You want to enter in birds that you're breeding, then their babies, and you'll get to a point where your flock record starts being what's out in your flight that's actively breeding, and that's really what you want to keep track of. If anything else, say you have a bird that's already out in your flight that is not in BirdTracker and you want to sell it, you can put it temporarily in your flock records and sell it. That way you have a record of it. In the next video, I'll go through some of the smaller options with you and show you how those work.